Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Halloween fun stuff, something like that. Today I thought it would be a cool day to make some Halloween gravestones using some plywood and maybe some foam to make a couple of them. So I brought out some gravestones and you can see I got different designs here. So let's look at what these are made out of. This looks like it's made out of 1/2-inch plywood here. Most of them are, and basically 1/2-inch plywood is cheaper. And this one actually has some, like, what do you call that stuff? Spackle that you put on the wall to make it have a little bit of, looks more like a rough stone. And you can see it's chipped out too, which is cool because the chips actually make it look older and more spooky kind of. And I think I'm gonna repaint these like black to make it look like there's mold in there. So let's go cut some, let's go design them and then cut them. We don't want to cut them first and then design them. So now we want to figure out what our design is. So I downloaded some examples from the internet, and these are just some pictures that I searched for. And what you're looking for is, you know, what design you want the top, because usually most gravestones are straight on the sides. So after you decide what design you want, you got to draw it out. So this is one that I made, and we're going to make something similar to this today. Real basic, just some squares and a little round thing right there. So when you start laying out your design, you basically want to lay out your center line first, because that's going to give you the basis for where you draw all your other lines to. So we're doing this design that's going to look like this. So basically you're just taking a straight edge or a square, and it doesn't have to be real specific. Just, you know, take it out and just make sure it's square when you design it, and lay out your lines the way you want it. And when you get it the way you want it, I only do half. All right, so now that you got your design done here, what I like to do is take a piece of plastic and tape it on there, and then take a magic marker and go over it, all the lines. So you go over all the lines like this, and make sure to include the center line and a side line so you can line it up, and the little top line here. And then when you're done with that, you can flip it and you get a symmetrical copy of this. And what you want to do is you want to cut out your design here, and then when you go to do it, you just trace back over it. Just like that. And then you get an exact copy of the other side. So that makes it really simple, and you can use these as a template to do more if you want to do something similar to that. So once you have this template done, you can actually use it to make other gravestones. You can shorten it up a little bit for another gravestone like that, or you can actually flip it and actually use the round part as the top and make a different design. So you can actually get like 2 different designs out of it for other gravestones. So it's nice to have these little templates to make, you can make them faster that way. It doesn't take so much time with the measuring. All right, so now it's time to cut this thing out. So if you just have a regular, wow, there's a big spider on there. Look at that spider. Okay, now that all the spiders are off my saw. So if you have just a radial saw, or any kind of saw will work, just go ahead and just make sure you wear safety glasses and be safe while you're doing this. So here's a quick tip when you're cutting with a radial saw. When you go to the corner, you're not going to be able to cut all the way through it without cutting further over the line. So what you want to do is just cut up just to this line, and then use a little hand saw and come back like this. Just use a little hand saw. Just a couple swipes with that. And we'll cut that little corner down. Same with this one. See, right there where the corner's still through. Little cut with a little saw like this, and it'll go right through there. Okay, now we got to choose what kind of paint we want. So you can choose from a lot of different colors, and I like to go with like an earth tone, like a gray or a tan or something like that. And that's what I did here. This was actually, I think, some of that Flexstone paint that was real light, and then I went back over with some gray and painted it so it had some dirty spots up in here. Black doesn't always turn out to be such a good idea because it's so dark you can't see it at night. Unless you're planning on using a lot of lights and maybe a light for each individual one, all you're going to see is like a black silhouette, and it's really hard to pick it up at night against like the darkness. So sometimes it's better to maybe go with a little bit lighter with some dark features in there so you can see, because at night flat black is just almost invisible. So what I did with this one is I painted it black, and then I painted some white highlights in here so it sort of gave it some shape. So the white edges you could see a little bit better when there's, because I use like a 100-watt light bulb on there, so you can see this a bit better when you have white, other than when it's just flat black like that. All right, so let's go paint it and see what that looks like. So I got a first coat of paint on. Unfortunately, I did not have any gray paint. Sorry. So I had to use tan paint. It doesn't look that good. But you know what, at night when it's dark, the darkness takes away color. So everything tends to be gray and black anyway. So just for the sake of not having to run out and buy gray paint. So you can still see the grain here, but it's not going to matter at night. If you're painting for daytime and you want it to look good in the daytime, maybe give it a real thick coat of primer to get rid of the grain. But other than that, at night you're not going to be able to see it. So what I want to do now is go over with some gray paint and do some modeling to make it look dirty. So I'll come back when I'm done with that. Okay, I did that real quick. So what I did is try to get a mottled look, which is basically just a very uneven look, because when things get dirty, they don't look evenly dirty. It's not like it's going to be one thing of, and you know, the idea is to make it look old. And like, trust me, when I say at night it'll look totally different. I'll have to take a picture and put it on this of what it looks like at night. So I just took some gray and randomly sprayed it in this pattern, just kind of like over and over, till it kind of had a mottled look to it. And what I've been doing lately is, so it shows up better at night, I've actually been taking a little bit of white paint and doing the edges in white, because I have a backlight that I light with, and the backlight will show up better on the edges, so you get sort of a better silhouette with your lighting. It just depends on how you're lighting at night, or if you're lighting anyway. So I'm going to do this, and we're going to take some little paint and put some little dirty, some little, what do you call that? That black stuff, mold. We're going to put some mold on this to make it even look older, okay? That'll be next. All right, this is the creative stage where we're going to try to do some mold, paint some like dark mold on there. So I got this wrought iron from the store. It's just a little acrylic paint like those craft paints are. And I squirted it all out, and I got my little brush here. And we're just gonna randomly just paint some mold on the tops here. And you know, there's no real exact way to do this, but a lot of times mold grows on the tops of stuff, because that's where the moisture is. But I'm doing this real quick just for the sake of the video, but and I'll say this for like the 10th time. At night, it'll look totally different. It won't look like this, because at night you haven't got the benefit of real good lighting. So I'm just doing, you know, there's no real, I mean, you could go out and like take a picture of some mold and get some ideas of how that is, but just for the sake of speed, I'm kind of doing this kind of quick. But alright, so guys, now we're going to put on our, put the stake on the back so we can stick it in the ground. So what you want to get is just a piece of 1x2. I found these are pressure treated. They'll last a couple years longer than if you just use regular wood, but it doesn't really matter. So what you want to do is, what I measure out is about 10 inches, 10-inch piece, and put some angles on here, you know, draw some lines and just cut it out into a point. And it doesn't really matter. Well, this is about 5 inches, so I divided it up. The bottom part was about 5 inches and the top part's about 5 inches. So that's just a rough sketch of how long to make this, make the point about 5 inches long. So once you get that cut out, just put 2 screw holes in it. And I'm gonna use some dry hole screws. And then you go ahead and mark out your area for the stake right there. And then I'm gonna use some real short screws to put this in, maybe 1.5 inch screw. Just screw that right in the bottom, like that. And surprisingly enough, just a little short stake like this will hold it pretty well. Just like that. So, just a little short stake like this actually works very well. I've used it on a lot of different ones and it's about the right. If you want to use a little bit longer, that's fine. These pull up really easy. And if you have a really tall gravestone, maybe you could use 2 of these to put it in there. So basically all finished. If you wanted to, you could paint the back too. A lot of times I just paint the back black. But, so let's go stick this in the ground and see how it looks. So I think it turned out pretty good. Looks a lot different than the other gravestones, you can tell. Looks like it might be older, and at night, like I said 100 times, it'll look a lot different at night. It'll stand out a bit more than the other ones. The lighter color, dark color, lighter color. What I was looking for when I did this project was to have a bunch of different colors, so it doesn't look like, you know, 20 dark gravestones and they're all the same. So different shapes, different colors. That's what I was looking for. I hope this helped you out some. You know, you be creative and just, you know, do your own thing. And this was just something so you could do it really quick and get ready for Halloween. So I hope you liked the tutorial. Leave a comment if you liked my video. If you didn't like it, don't leave a comment, because usually it's not a nice comment. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to be back in a couple weeks with another tutorial.